At the victory banquet, my fiancé's little assistant was sitting in my seat of honor, wearing my bespoke suit. My fiancé carefully adjusted the assistant's collar, then turned to me with a smile. Jiangjing didn't have anything appropriate to wear, so I just grabbed one of yours for him. You have so many clothes, honey. You don't mind, do you? Seeing my dark expression, the little assistant scrambled to his feet, tears glistening in his eyes. President Su, are you angry? It's all my fault. I shouldn't have worn your suit or sat in your seat. I'll give it all back right now. I know I'm not worthy. My fiancé pushed the scheming little pretty boy right back down into the head seat and shot me a look of mild annoyance. Come on, honey. He's just a kid. Why are you picking on him? You're scaring him. Before I could respond, my assistant and bodyguard Xiao Wu kicked him square in the ribs, sent the little schemer flying, then strode over, hoisted him up like a baby chick, and slapped him across the face. Hard again and again. The entire room froze in shock. I let a smile curl across my lips. Good. So her little assistant was a manipulative schemer, was he? Well, mine happened to be a certified lunatic. President Su, I've confirmed everything. Your fiancé, President Shen's assistant, is named Jiang Jing, a recent graduate and intern. He spent his college years working part-time at nightclubs and has quite the silver tongue. According to our investigation, President Shen has been exceptionally protective of this intern. All Manager Pei from the business department did was criticize Jiang Jing twice, and President Shen berated her on the spot, then fired her from the company. She even promoted Jiang Jing to assistant before his internship period was over. As of now, President Shen and this assistant haven't been found to have any further relationship. His other dirty laundry is still being dug up. I'll report to you the moment I have anything. I had been away on a month-long business trip and had just closed a massive billion-dollar deal. Freshly returned to the country, I had arranged a victory banquet for that evening. My assistant Xiao Wu delivered the briefing while hurrying to keep pace with me. Oh, one more thing. The banquet tonight was extended to President Shen, and she brought that assistant along. I let out a cold laugh. Manager Pei at the Shen Corporation had been my arrangement. 3 years ago, when I entered into an engagement with Shen Yuning, I began outsourcing a large portion of our group's business to Shen Corporation, and Manager Pei was the liaison I had personally designated. To think that after just 1 month away, my fiancé Shen Yuning had the audacity to go after one of my people, all for an intern, and even had the nerve to bring this pretty boy right in front of me. I had originally planned to marry her by the end of this year. There was no longer any need. The private dining room doors were wide open. When everyone saw me walk in with Xiao Wu, the room fell deathly silent. Every single person stood up, waiting for me to take my seat. Only the young pretty boy at the head seat remained seated, not moving an inch. I paused for a moment. The navy blue suit on him looked very familiar. It was a gift Shen Yuning had given me on my birthday, but the cut was slightly too small for me, so I rarely wore it. Now here it was, draped on this pretty boy. Shen Yuning had her back to the door, carefully adjusting the pretty boy's tie. The Su Corporation executives glanced at the young man in the head seat, then looked back at me. Every face in the room had gone sour. The pretty boy noticed me. He blinked, then spoke in that mocking sing-song tone. Oh my, who's this? Surely not someone here to freeload a meal, showing up this late without even greeting President Shen. How utterly rude. Shen Yuning turned at the sound of his voice, her body going rigid. Ah, honey, you're here. The pretty boy stared. President Shen's husband? But President Shen isn't married, is she? Don't tell me he's a freeloader. Even if he is her husband, showing up this late is incredibly improper. President Shen must have spoiled him rotten. When Shen Yuning noticed my gaze fixed on the navy blue suit, her expression changed instantly. She grabbed the pretty boy's arm and told him to shut up. What freeloader? He's my fiancé and the president of Su Corporation. Watch your mouth. The pretty boy went stiff, his face draining of color. Su Corporation? That's one of the 4 major corporations in all of High City. President Shen's fiancé is actually the president of Su Corporation. Shen Yuning turned back to me with a conciliatory smile. Honey, Jiang Jing wanted to come out and see the world, and there wasn't time to get him a custom outfit, so I just grabbed one of yours for him. Seeing my dark expression, the pretty boy shot to his feet, tears pooling in his eyes. President Su, are you angry? It's all my fault. I didn't know you were the president of Su Corporation, and I definitely shouldn't have worn your clothes or sat in your seat. I'll return everything right now. Shen Yuning pushed the pretty boy back down into the head seat, her brows knitting together as she looked at me. Enough, honey. Jiang Jing is just a kid. Stop giving him such a hard time. You're scaring him half to death. That scheming little brat dares provoke President Su to his face? Has he got a death wish? Xiao Wu's face twisted with fury. He kicked the pretty boy square in the chest, sent him flying, then strode over, lifted the little schemer up like a baby chick, and began slapping him. Shen Yuning shrieked, lunging forward to pull him off. Have you lost your mind? Let him go. Xiao Wu bared his teeth in a cruel grin, never stopping his assault. President Su, I've always been crazy. You know that. Xiao Wu had been my university classmate. Despite growing up poor, the man could fight like nobody's business. I paid for his entire college tuition and living expenses, and in return he became my personal bodyguard. Near the end of our university years, the eldest daughter of the Zhang family took a liking to his rippling muscles and 8-pack abs, and wanted him to marry into the Zhang family. As Xiao Wu's best friend, I naturally wished him well. But just a year into their marriage, the Zhang Harris's first love came back from overseas, and Xiao Wu walked straight into a nightmare. Time after time, he was framed by that scheming first love of hers, a tumble down the stairs blamed on Xiao Wu, self-inflicted slaps blamed on Xiao Wu, corporate secrets stolen and pinned on Xiao Wu. The Jiang Harris finally reached her breaking point and locked Xiao Wu in the basement, torturing him for days on end. By the time I realized what had happened and rescued him, he was chained to the floor in the basement, screaming and thrashing like a madman. I took him to the best hospital, where he was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and mania. He spent over a year in the hospital before his condition gradually stabilized. I was absolutely livid. I personally had the Jiang heiress and her first love convicted of unlawful imprisonment and intentional assault, sentenced to hard time behind bars, and the Jiang Corporation, under my deliberate pressure, they went bankrupt. Xiao Wu had been by my side for many years and knew my temper better than anyone. Often, the moment a thought formed in my mind, he had already acted on it. That was what I valued most about Xiao Wu. His loyalty was absolute. He answered to me and me alone. No one else's words mattered to him, not even God's. Oh, and one more thing. Xiao Wu despised scheming pretty boys with a passion. Honey, make him stop. It's just a suit, for heaven's sake. Is this really necessary? If he keeps this up, someone's going to die. Shen Yuning couldn't pull Xiao Wu away and turned to me with red, desperate eyes. I strolled unhurriedly to the head seat and sat down. Shen Yuning, I didn't give any orders. That was Xiao Wu's own idea. You know he has bipolar disorder and mania. When an episode strikes, no one can stop him. There's nothing I can do. Shen Yuning's whole body trembled with rage, but she had nothing to say. The incident with Xiao Wu had been all over the news years ago. The Jiang Harris got 7 years. Her first love got 5.5. Who didn't know about that? So you're just going to watch Xiao Wu beat a man to death? She screamed, her eyes red-rimmed. I said nothing. When Xiao Wu decided he'd had enough, he drove one final kick straight into the pretty boy's groin, then stopped, tossing Jiang Jing onto the floor like a piece of garbage. The pretty boy let out a blood-curdling scream, curling up on the ground like a shrimp, thrashing wildly, his face already turning the color of liver. The room went dead silent. Every man present sucked in a sharp breath and instinctively squeezed his thighs together. Shen Yuning was completely beside herself. She dropped to her knees beside him, hands shaking as she tried to check on Jiang Jing, not knowing where to even begin. Xiao Wu's bloodshot eyes trembled. With shaking hands, he fished a handful of pills from his pocket and swallowed them. The savage look in his eyes gradually faded, and he stood behind me as if nothing had happened. Shen Yuning looked up at me, her expression dark. Honey, it's just a suit. I'll buy you a new one. Is this really necessary? Xiao Wu beat my man. You owe me an explanation. I stood, walked over, and slapped her across the face. The crack echoed through the entire private room. Shen Yuning's head snapped to the side, half her face swelling red almost instantly. Shen Yuning, Xiao Wu is my brother. You want him to give you an explanation? You know perfectly well that Xiao Wu is the way he is because of a scheming pretty boy, and yet you bring one right in front of him to provoke him. What exactly is your game? An explanation? Don't you think you're the one who owes Xiao Wu an explanation? You hit me? Shen Yuning slowly turned her head back to face me, eyes wide with disbelief, tears pooling but held back, her lips bitten white. So what if I hit you? I looked down at her, voice like ice. Shen Yuning, you let this little schemer sit in my seat, wear my suit, and now you're defending him. Do you think you deserve it? Shen Yuning's eyes darted around. She stammered for a long time but couldn't produce a single word. Honey, let me take Jiang Jing to the hospital first. I'll explain everything when I get home, okay? Without waiting for my answer, she struggled to support Jiang Jing and staggered out of the room. I gestured for Xiao Wu to take a seat, then raised my glass with a smile. All right, everyone. Tonight is a celebration. Let's not let a little unpleasantness ruin the mood. You've all worked hard this month. The billion-dollar deal is signed, and bonuses this quarter are doubled. Come, a toast to all of you. President Su, you're incredible. It's all thanks to President Su's leadership. Congratulations, President Su. The atmosphere finally came back to life. It was midnight by the time I got home. The moment I opened the door, I saw Shen Yuning already sitting on the sofa waiting for me. She was in loungewear, but nothing could conceal her stunning figure, exquisite features, those fox-like eyes carrying a faint weariness. When she saw me come in, her eyes lit up and she stood with visible nervousness. Honey, I'm wrong. I just felt sorry for Jiang Jing. You don't know how Manager Pei kept picking on him at the office. He's so young and so driven. I just wanted to mentor him personally, look out for him a little. I swear, nothing has happened between us. Tonight was thoughtless of me. Honey, we're about to get married. Please don't be angry anymore, okay? She moved to throw herself into my arms and pout like she always did. I sidestepped without a trace of warmth and regarded her coldly. Shen Yuning, from what I've gathered, your company recruited 8 interns this cycle. Jiang Jing has the lowest qualifications and the worst performance of them all. He made a string of mistakes during his internship, and Manager Pei merely reprimanded him. You fired Manager Pei on the spot without a second thought and promoted Jiang Jing to your personal assistant the very next day. You're telling me nothing happened? Do you think I'm stupid? Shen Yuning's face went deathly pale. She opened her mouth to explain, but under my cold, cutting gaze, every word jammed in her throat. I just thought he was a little clueless, kind of cute. He has a good heart. He's still young, and I wanted to give him more opportunities. Honey, I promise. I only see him as a younger brother. There's absolutely nothing else. She gazed up at me with reddened eyes, a hint of grievance in her expression. I stared at her for a long moment, and suddenly the whole thing felt absurd. It was only now hitting me what a person of zero boundaries and zero judgment Shen Yuning was. Back in university, Shen Yuning had been the undisputed campus beauty, so stunning it almost hurt to look at her. Porcelain skin, tall and graceful, and what made her even more rare was that she had never dated anyone throughout college, the dream girl of countless students. So 3 years ago, when the Shen family's cash flow collapsed and they came to my family seeking a strategic marriage alliance, I agreed without much deliberation. For 3 years, Shen Yuning had been a model of propriety, never once getting too close to any man. Her sense of boundaries had always satisfied me. I simply never expected her to fall for this kind of scheming pretty boy act. Had she been putting on an excellent disguise all along, or was this her true nature all the while? I rubbed my temples, too tired to speculate. In a tone that brooked no argument, I told her, "I'm exhausted. I don't want to hear your excuses. Fire him tomorrow, effective immediately, no rehiring, and no private contact going forward. I'm giving you this one chance. Whether you treasure it is up to you." Shen Yuning froze, her eyes filling with anguish and inner torment. I couldn't be bothered with her anymore, and turned to the bathroom for a shower. When I came out, Shen Yuning had composed herself and was waiting for me in bed. She wore a sheer nightgown, her fair, shapely legs on full display. Under the dim lamplight, her allure was nothing short of lethal. She blinked her wide eyes at me. "Honey, I've thought it through. I'll fire Jiang Jing tomorrow. Please don't be angry, okay?" She crawled across the bed and pulled me down to lie beside her. "Honey, you must be exhausted after your trip. Let me take the lead tonight." Shen Yuning gave it her all that evening, thoroughly and passionately. True to her word, she had Jiang removed from the company the very next day. Apparently, he made an enormous scene and refused to leave, and in the end, he was unceremoniously dragged out by security. Over the following days, Shen Yuning reverted to her original gentle, docile self. Every morning she would personally cook me a loving breakfast. Every evening she came straight home after work, turning down social engagements whenever possible, never arriving late. At bedtime she came up with new ways to please me night after night. I noticed every bit of her transformation, and my attitude toward her gradually softened. On the weekend of my mother's birthday, as was customary, I would bring Shen Yuning along. After dinner, I wiped my mouth and said to her, "Yuning, it's mother's birthday this weekend. Make the arrangements in advance. We'll go to Junlan Manor and spend a proper weekend with her." My mother was a devout Buddhist who preferred quiet over the noise of the city, so she lived on a manor halfway up Junlan Mountain. Every year on her birthday, she never wanted a lavish affair, just the family together for a reunion dinner. Years ago, when my mother had been gravely ill, Shen Yuning had stayed by her bedside, tending to her day and night for over a week. My mother was thoroughly impressed with this prospective daughter-in-law, and always brought her up whenever she called me. I naturally assumed Shen Yuning would agree without hesitation. To my surprise, she showed no delight whatsoever, only hesitation. She bit her luscious red lips, eyes full of apology, and threw herself into my arms with a coquettish pout. "Honey, I might not be able to get away this weekend. I have a meeting with an important client scheduled. You know our company is in the middle of a transformation. One wrong step could bring enormous losses. Could you apologize to Mom for me? I'll visit her when things settle down, I promise. Don't worry, honey. I'll have a gift sent over in advance." I looked down at her in silence. Beneath the surface, I caught a flicker of guilt and evasion. I held my gaze for a long time before letting the words drop. "Fine. Focus on your work then. I'll go alone this weekend." My tone was calm, not a single ripple. Shen Yuning visibly exhaled in relief, the awkwardness vanishing in an instant. She leaned up and kissed me on the cheek. "You're the best, honey. I promise, once this weekend is over, I'll go see Mom in person to make it up to her." That night, she pulled out every trick in her arsenal just to make me happy. I certainly wasn't going to refuse. Call it collecting a little interest in advance. The next day at the office, Xiao Wu knocked on my door with a grim expression and set a stack of files on my desk. "President Su, it's confirmed." During his time working nightclubs in college, Jiang Jing was kept by multiple wealthy women on several occasions. These contain intimate photos of him with those women. After graduation, he developed stomach problems from years of heavy drinking and was forced to leave his old line of work. That's when he finally settled down and got a regular job. We've also confirmed that after leaving Shen Corporation, Jiang Jing landed a position as HR manager at Starlight Technology. Starlight Tech is a subsidiary Shen Corporation recently established for its transformation. President Shen hasn't visited personally, but she's made special arrangements with the management there to give Jiang Jing preferential treatment. Xiao Wu asked cautiously, "President Su, should I pay Starlight Technology a visit and have a little chat with that pretty boy?" "Not yet," I said. "First, have the private investigators tail Jiang Jing and Shen Yuning around the clock, report any developments to me immediately, and get manager pay back to Su Corporation, double her salary." "Understood." Xiao Wu nodded. "I'll see to it right away. One more thing." I turned around. "Come with me to Junlan Manor this weekend. Mother hasn't seen you in ages. She was just mentioning you the other day." Xiao Wu's eyes reddened for a fleeting moment, but quickly returned to normal. "All right. It's been a while since I last saw Auntie. Weekend. Junlan Manor." My mother lived halfway up Junlan Mountain. The manor wasn't large, but it was impeccably maintained. The garden bursting with her favorite flowers, and behind the hill stretched a vast orchard my late father had planted for her. When I arrived Saturday morning, sunlight filtered through the manor's ginkgo leaves, scattering coins of gold across the courtyard. Mother stood at the gate waiting for me, wearing a pale blue kippao, her hair swept up in an elegant bun, looking vibrant and well. She watched me and Xiao Wu step out of the car. When she saw no sign of Shen Yuning, the light in her eyes dimmed ever so slightly. Mom. I stepped forward and wrapped her in a hug. You've lost weight. She patted my back. A whole month overseas. Did you even eat properly? I did. Don't worry. Xiao Wu unloaded the gifts from the car and gave Mother a deep, respectful bow. Happy birthday, Auntie. May you be blessed with longevity and good health. Wonderful. Xiao Wu, you're always so thoughtful. Mother beamed at him and quickly had Aunt Wang take the gifts. As I and Xiao Wu each took one of Mother's arms and walked her into the main hall, she hesitated for a moment, then asked, Is something going on with Yuning lately? No, why do you ask? It's nothing. She lowered her head and settled onto the sofa, taking my hand. It's just that Yuning used to call and check on me at least twice a week. This past month, not a single call. I wonder if she's been terribly busy with work. My hand paused. Shen Corporation is at a critical juncture in its transformation. She has been quite busy. Being busy is good. Mother nodded and didn't press further. But I knew she understood perfectly. Mother had always been a perceptive woman. She simply preferred not to say things out loud. We had just finished Mother's birthday reunion dinner when Xiao Wu took a phone call. He leaned in close to my ear, barely containing his fury. President Su, confirmed. Today is also Zhang Jing's birthday. President Shen took her two best friends and Zhang Jing to the Bay Villa for a birthday celebration. My face darkened instantly. The Bay Villa was the wedding home I had prepared. Shen Yuning had insisted on designing the interior herself, and I had no objections, so I gave her the keys, though the property was still registered under my name. I never imagined that after the renovation was complete, the first man she would bring inside would be Zhang Jing. This little schemer. Good. He was asking for it. He had no one to blame but himself. The car pulled up slowly outside the villa, but I didn't step out right away. Instead, I dialed Shen Yuning's number. The phone rang for a long time before she picked up. The background was eerily quiet, not a sound. Honey, aren't you supposed to be with Mom for her birthday? How do you suddenly have time to call me? I kept my voice casual. Mother just mentioned you, so I thought I'd give you a ring. What are you up to? Oh, I'm entertaining a client. I told you about it, honey. Oh, really? Where? A note of panic crept into Shen Yuning's voice. At the Qinhuai Club. Honey, what's wrong? The Qinhuai Club was an establishment owned by one of her two best friends, Qin Shanshan. She was banking on the fact that even if I called, her friend would cover for her. Just asking. Don't drink too much. Head home early when you're done. The relief on the other end was palpable. Of course, honey. I will. Thanks for caring. I'll hang up now. We'll talk later. Love you. Sure. I walked into the Bay Villa with Xiao Wu and unlocked the courtyard gate with my fingerprint. The front door was wide open, and from inside came the sound of laughter and revelry. The interior was laid bare the moment I stepped in, 3 women and 1 man drinking in the main hall. The pretty boy was pressed close to Shen Yuning on the sofa, a Patek Philippe worth millions on his wrist, his shirt unbuttoned to reveal a lean, almost frail torso, alcohol soaking through his dress shirt, his bangs damp and clinging to his forehead. He did admittedly possess a certain broken, wounded beauty. Qin Shanshan, dressed in a flowing lemon-yellow dress, cast a suggestive glance between the pretty boy and Shen Yuning. Come on, confess. Just how far have the two of you actually gone? Shen Yuning shot her a teasing glare. What are you talking about, Shanshan? I only see Zhang Jing as a younger brother. I'm about to get married. Stop making things up. Qin Shanshan burst out laughing as if she'd heard the joke of the century. A younger brother? Yuning, I heard today is also your future mother-in-law's birthday. Instead of spending it with her, you're here celebrating Zhang Jing's birthday? And you even gave him a watch worth millions as a gift? You're telling us you only see him as a brother. Do you actually expect us to believe that? The other friend chimed in immediately. Exactly. If you really see him as a brother, why don't you hand him over to me? Shen Yuning instantly went on guard, shielding Zhang Jing like a mother hen. Don't you dare. Jing just graduated from college. His heart is pure. Don't you two even think about corrupting him. Qin Shanshan's smile turned positively wicked. Oh my, look at her, all protective. You're not planning to keep him for yourself, are you? Qin Shanshan. Shen Yuning glared at her, a furious blush spreading across her cheeks. I would never do anything to betray my husband. Stop talking nonsense, or I'll really get angry. Qin Shanshan giggled so hard she nearly doubled over, raising her glass of red wine for a delicate sip, her eyes full of mischief. Fine, say no more. It'll never reach your future husband's ears. Happy now? Lin Ronruan, the other friend, piled on. That's right, Shanshan. Give it a rest. Can't you see how red Yuning's face has gotten? I am not blushing. Shen Yuning touched her own cheek self-consciously, her voice rising. It's too hot in here. All right, leave Yuning alone. Zhang Jing seized the perfect moment to lift a glass of red wine, tenderly placing it in Shen Yuning's hands, his gaze burning as he looked at her. Sister Yuning, thank you for everything you've done for me, and thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to spend my birthday with me. He raised his wrist, letting the designer watch catch the light. And thank you for this precious watch. It's the most beautiful gift I've ever received in my entire life. His eyes glistened, lashes lowering as his voice choked with emotion. Sister Yuning, you don't know this, but every year on my birthday, I buy myself a tiny cake and blow out the candles alone in a cramped little rental apartment. This is the best, happiest birthday I've ever had. Thank you, Sister Yuning. Shen Yuning's heart melted on the spot. Jing, Sister Yuning promises, from now on, every single birthday, I'll be right there with you. Really? Jiang Jing's head snapped up, eyes blazing. He seized her hand and squeezed it hard. Sister Yuning, you're so good to me. I've never in my life met anyone as wonderful as you. Shen Yuning instinctively tried to pull her hand back, but his grip was too tight. She gave up and let him hold it. Jing, you've had too much to drink. Her voice sounded strained, and she couldn't quite bring herself to meet his intense gaze. Her two friends exchanged a glance, their smiles turning ever more suggestive. I haven't. Jiang Jing shook his head. Sister Yuning, do you know lately, I dream about you every night. I dream that you're right beside me. I dream about you helping me into my suit and tying my tie. I dream about you. Just then, I walked in with Xiao Wu. Well, what a lively occasion. Am I interrupting something? They shot to their feet the instant they saw me, a flash of panic in their eyes. Shen Yuning's face went chalk white. She flung Jiang Jing's hand away as if burned, stammering, Honey, aren't you supposed to be with Mom for her birthday? What are you doing here? Jiang Jing took one look at Xiao Wu's bloodshot eyes and unconsciously stumbled back 2 steps, his legs trembling. I swept my gaze across the massive cake on the table, its icing reading, Happy Birthday Jing, and narrowed my eyes. Well, Shen Yuning, this is what you call entertaining an important client. Shen Yuning's eyes darted away, and she looked at me with pleading. Honey, you've got it wrong. I just finished with the client and came here after. It's not what it looks like. Seeing Shen Yuning so flustered, Jiang Jing mustered his courage. President Su, please don't blame Sister Yuning. Managing such a large company is exhausting for her. I begged her to spend a little time with me on my birthday. Sister Yuning and I are absolutely innocent. You've truly misunderstood her. I know, it's all my fault. That goddamn scheming little bastard. I hate schemers more than anything. Before I could even give an order, Xiao Wu's eyes had turned bloodshot. He snatched a bottle of red wine from the table and brought it crashing down on Jiang Jing's head with a sickening crack. The bottle shattered on impact, blood and wine spraying everywhere, streaming down through his long hair. What the hell do you think you are, daring to disgust President Su? Xiao Wu kicked Jiang Jing across the room, then strode over, hoisted the pretty boy up like a baby chick, and began slapping him senseless. The 3 women screamed in terror, backing away again and again. Jiang Jing was utterly petrified by the lunatic before him. Ever since hearing from Shen Yuning that Xiao Wu was mentally unstable, his fear had now reached a fever pitch. He thrashed and wailed, Sister Yuning, save me. President Su, I'm sorry, I'll never do it again. Please make him stop. He's crazy. What if he kills me? Wah! I'll never dare again. Shen Yuning wanted to pull the raging Xiao Wu away but didn't dare. Afraid she'd get hit too, she could only sob and beg me. Honey, please, make him stop. Make him stop. Xiao Wu is having an episode. She only listens to you. If you tell her to stop, she will. She reached for me, but I flung her away. Shen Yuning, I'd love to help you, but once Xiao Wu goes into an episode, nobody can control him. We just have to wait until he's done venting. Watching Jiang Jing take beating after beating, Shen Yuning hopped from foot to foot in desperation. Honey, don't lie to me. You must have a way to stop Xiao Wu. She looked at me, and anger began to creep into her eyes. Enough, honey. Jiang Jing and I have nothing going on. Can you just stop this madness? My face darkened, and I slapped her across her delicate cheek. Shen Yuning, I told you to fire Jiang Jing, and instead you installed him as HR manager at Starlight Technology. I asked you to come with me to celebrate Mother's birthday, and you lied about having an important client, when you were actually celebrating your pretty boy's birthday in our future wedding home. When I called to ask where you were, you lied and said you were at the Qinhuai Club. You have nothing going on? You gave him a watch worth millions. You've lied to me, your own fiancé, again and again for this pretty boy, and you have the nerve to call this madness? Have you no shame? Shen Yuning clutched her face, staring at me in disbelief, tears swirling in her eyes. Honey, you hit me again? My eyes were black with menace. Shen Yuning, you're trying to have your cake and eat it too. Don't you think you deserve it? Qin Shanshan, seeing her friend in distress, ventured carefully. President Su, you've really got this all wrong. Yuning was just afraid you'd misunderstand, which is why she couldn't tell you the truth. Shut up! I slapped Qin Shanshan hard across the face, my voice like a blade. You say one more word, and I'll bankrupt the Qin family by tomorrow. Your family's little operation can't even compare to the Shen family, and you think you're something special? While bankrupting the Qin family by the next day might have been an exaggeration, it wouldn't take the Su Corporation long to crush them. Qin Shanshan pressed a hand to her swollen, reddened cheek, not daring to even cry. She shuddered violently and kept her mouth firmly shut. Lin Ronruan had gone pale as a ghost and had already retreated to the front door. Jiang Jing was still screaming bloody murder. Xiao Wu was seeing red with no signs of stopping. Shen Yuning sobbed like a willow in a storm, her hands clasped together, wringing them frantically. Honey, please make Xiao Wu stop. I know I was wrong. I'll never do it again. Honey, if you don't make Xiao Wu stop, I'll have to call the police. I seized Shen Yuning by the throat, eyes blazing, and let out a derisive laugh. Go ahead and call the police. This villa is property registered under my name, Suche. I swept my arm across the devastated living room, but all of you broke into my house without permission and trashed the place. Did I give you consent? What do you call that? Trespassing. I may have been excessive, but I was defending my lawful rights. Shen Yuning's face turned crimson from my grip around her neck. Fear finally surfaced in her eyes. I curled my lips into a vicious smile and continued. And given Xiao Wu's condition, if he actually beat Zhang Jing to death, what do you think the courts would do? Besides, if you call the police, do you think old Master Shen would come after me, or break both yours and Zhang Jing's legs to appease my fury? I released her neck and shoved her to the ground with a bang. Shen Yuning, we are finished. The engagement is off. Take your people and get out of my house. Now. Xiao Wu delivered one final vicious kick to Zhang Jing's groin before stopping. He hurriedly fished out his pills and swallowed them, his gaze slowly returning to calm. Zhang Jing looked barely human anymore, curled on the floor, clutching his groin, whimpering, barely breathing. His manhood, still recovering from the last assault, had now sustained fresh damage. It was safe to say it would never be the same. When Shen Yuning heard the words engagement is off, her mind went blank. She stared into space for a long time. The fear in her eyes deepened into something darker, despair. She scrambled on all fours to my feet, seizing my trouser leg with both hands. Honey, don't call off the engagement, you can't. I know I was wrong. Nothing happened between Zhang Jing and me. Nothing. Baby, please believe me. I'll fire him the moment I get home. I'll never see him again, okay? She clung to my trouser leg, shaking it frantically, tears falling in great heavy drops. I was sick of it. I kicked her away. She crashed into the coffee table behind her and crumpled to the floor in agony, beads of sweat the size of beans dripping from her brow. I took out my phone and called the villa community's property management, telling the guards to come and remove them. Within moments, 4 guards sprinted over. I pointed with a frown at Shen Yuning on the ground, then at Zhang Jing lying barely conscious. Throw these 2 out. The guards stood frozen, exchanging uncertain glances. What are you standing around for? Can't you understand a simple order? My voice turned ice cold. The guards didn't hesitate again. They restrained both of them and began dragging them out. Qin Shanshan and Lin Ruanruan, like startled rabbits, dashed out first in their high heels. Shen Yuning thrashed wildly. Honey, you can't do this to me. I never did anything to betray you. Let me go, let me go. But no matter how she struggled, she was unceremoniously hauled out by the guards. I surveyed the wreckage with a faint frown. The villa had only just been renovated and hadn't yet been staffed with a housekeeper. There was no longer any need to keep this wedding home. I turned to Xiao Wu. Have someone come clean this place up, then list it for sale. Right away, President Su. Back at the original house, it was already 10 at night. The first thing I did was delete Shen Yuning's fingerprint access and instruct the butler not to let her in. I had just stepped out of the shower in my robe when Fubo appeared at the bedroom door, standing at attention. Young master, Miss Shen can't get in. She knocked just now, but I didn't open the door. She's kneeling outside. I gave a slight nod. Noted. I dried my hair with a towel as I walked to the window and gently lifted a corner of the curtain. Shen Yuning was kneeling on the marble slab outside the gate, hair disheveled, tear tracks streaking her face. The night breeze swept across her, and she shivered faintly. Fubo stood behind me, his expression hesitant. Young master, Miss Shen has been kneeling out there for nearly half an hour. Should I? No, I'm closing the curtain. If she wants to kneel, let her kneel. Fubo opened his mouth, then said nothing. He withdrew in silence. Approaching midnight, when Shen Yuning realized the door wasn't going to open, she called me desperately, again and again. I found it irritating and blocked her number. Unable to fall asleep, I grabbed a bottle of liquor, took a swig, and carried it as I opened the front door. Shen Yuning's eyes, which had been dim and lifeless moments ago, instantly blazed to life, like a drowning person who had just spotted the last piece of driftwood. Honey, her voice was hoarse and raw. You finally came out. I really do know I was wrong. Don't call me honey. I cut her off, cold and imperious. Miss Shen, there is no longer any relationship between us. Isn't that so? Nen, no, that's not true. She shook her head frantically, tears surging anew. Honey, no, Ache, I've thought about it. It was all my fault. I shouldn't have lied to you, and I definitely shouldn't have gotten so close to another man. Ache, I truly love you. I only wanted to look after Zhang Jing because I felt sorry for him. Nothing ever happened between us, I swear. I'll cut all contact with him from now on. Please, is that okay? She crawled toward me, reaching to wrap her arms around my leg. I kicked her away. She collapsed onto the ground, looking up at me with a devastated wail. Ache, I love you. I can't live without you. Ache, I really can't. Please, give me one more chance. Ha, a chance? I laughed coldly and poured the entire bottle of liquor over her head. Shen Yuning, I gave you a chance. Don't you remember? I said I would only give you one. You're the one who didn't know how to cherish it. Shen Yuning didn't dare dodge. She bowed her head, squeezed her eyes shut, and opened her mouth wide, letting the liquor cascade down her face, soaking through her clothes. Ache, if it makes you feel better, you can do anything you want to me. I hurled the empty bottle to the ground. It shattered with an explosive crash, glass shards scattering in every direction. Shen Yuning, do you think that as long as you kneel before me and let me vent my anger, I'll go soft? That I'll forgive you? That I'll be just as tolerant of your foolishness as before? Shen Yuning flinched violently. She was about to speak when my cold voice cut her off. You're wrong, Shen Yuning. The thing I, Suche, despise most in this life is being treated like a fool. Get as far away from me as you can, and don't you ever come crawling back. Shen Yuning swayed, nearly collapsing. I didn't give her another glance. The villa gate slammed shut with a resounding bang. The next morning, I slept in. When I drew the curtain, Shen Yuning was gone. When I arrived at the group headquarters and walked into my office, my phone began buzzing incessantly. The caller was old Master Shen. I didn't pick up and moved to block the number. That afternoon, Xiao Wu knocked and entered. President, Su, Old Master Shen flew into a rage when he heard about the broken engagement. He beat Miss Shen and has confined her to the house. He personally ordered the million-yuan watch confiscated from Jiang Jing, fired him permanently, and blacklisted him across the entire industry. I laughed. The Shen family's resources and influence were laughably small for an industry-wide blacklist. Without the Su family's backing, who would even listen to him? He really thought he was something. But people like Jiang Jing were best left to devour each other. I looked at Xiao Wu. Issue the directive. Cancel all partnerships with Shen Corporation. Full withdrawal of capital. They have 1 week to repay all outstanding debts, or we take them to court. Yes, President Su. In the weeks that followed, Shen Corporation plunged into an unprecedented crisis. 3 years ago, the company had been on the verge of bankruptcy. It was only my decision to outsource massive amounts of business to them that brought them back from the brink. Roughly 80% of Shen Corporation's revenue came from contracts with Su Corporation. Their recent frantic push to transform was precisely to reduce that dependency and build resilience. The tech pivot had already consumed enormous capital with zero return, a bottomless pit. My sudden severing of all partnerships was the equivalent of pulling the plug. Shen Corporation's financial structure collapsed overnight. One by one, their other business partners came knocking, demanding repayment, terrified of being dragged down with them. Creditors swarmed the building until it was packed to bursting. Shen Yuning, frantic as an ant on a hot griddle, was released from house arrest and came to the Su residence every single day, standing downstairs from morning till night. I refused to see her every time. What surprised me was that Jiang Jing still had the nerve to stir up trouble. He posted a self-pitying video on his social media account, using it to attack me. In the video, his hair was a mess, his face covered in bruises. He faced the camera, tears streaming. Hello everyone, my name is Jiang Jing. I'm the former HR manager of Starlight Technology. I come from humble beginnings, and through my own hard work and President Shen's mentorship, I've climbed step by step to where I am today. President Shen only ever saw me as a younger brother. She got a little closer to me, and for that she suffered ruthless domestic violence at the hands of her fiancé. His voice broke, his shoulders trembling uncontrollably. I have no connections, no power, no money. I'm just an ordinary working person. The president of Su Corporation sits high above. He wields immense power. Not only did he order his subordinate to beat me, but he pressured the Shen family to destroy my livelihood. Now, to satisfy his twisted need for control, he's driving Shen Corporation into bankruptcy. President Shen showed me kindness when no one else would. I can't just stand by and watch her suffer such injustice because of me. He lifted his head, tears glistening, streaming down his cheeks. I know I can't fight capital, I'm just an ordinary person, but I hope that ordinary people like me can see injustice for what it is. President Su and President Shen aren't even married yet, and even if they were, does that mean she can't have friends of the opposite sex? Is a woman supposed to cut off all contact with every man once she's married and become nothing but a caged bird? President Shen only saw me as a younger brother. We are completely innocent. Nothing ever happened. But President Su refuses to believe it. Why do the rich get to do whatever they want? Why do they get to bully the weak without consequence, while ordinary people like us don't even have the right to speak a single word of truth? The video ended there. In just a few short minutes, it had forcibly slapped the labels of domestic violence, capitalist, pervert, control freak, and bully onto me. When Xiao Wu handed me his phone, the video had already surpassed 300,000 likes, and the comment section was ablaze. Oh my god, this is suffocating. Why can't someone have friends of the opposite sex just because they're in a relationship? This isn't just domestic violence, it's blatant psychological control. President Su's need for control is pathological. If President Shen actually married him, she'd lose her mind. Poor President Shen, tortured by her control-freak fiancé and dragged into corporate ruin. An intentional assault. Is there no law? Capitalists are disgusting. Everyone, dump your Su Corporation stock immediately. Boycott all Su Corporation products and services. Xiao Wu stood beside me, his face anxious. President Su, this video is already trending. Public opinion is heavily against the group right now. Should I have it forcibly suppressed? I tossed the phone back to him. No need. Forcing it down would backfire. This video couldn't have hit trending on its own. Someone is clearly pushing it behind the scenes. If I had to guess, it's the Shen family's last desperate gamble. Keep a close eye on them and Jiang Jing. We don't want a cornered animal doing something reckless. Xiao Wu acknowledged the order with respect. The video simmered for 3 days, with likes breaking 2 million and holding firm at the top of trending. The internet was in an uproar, and the whole nation was waiting for Su Corporation's response, demanding accountability. Su Corporation's stock dipped slightly, but the impact was manageable. On the 4th day, a call came in from an unknown number. I answered. It was Shen Yuning's voice. Ache, I didn't know Jiang Jing would post that kind of video. I've already had him thoroughly chewed out. Ache, nothing happened between us. Nothing. Just restore the partnership between our families and agree to marry me, and I'll come to you right away. If this keeps escalating, the damage to Su Corporation will be immeasurable. Ache, you know, the only person I've ever loved is you. I gave her one word in response, get lost. The moment I hung up, I had the PR department post a statement on the official website, laying out everything Shen Yuning and Jiang Jing had done. It detailed how the Shen family had been on the brink of collapse 3 years ago and was propped up step by step by Su Corporation. How Shen Yuning had fired a department manager to avenge Jiang Jing, an intern, and promoted him to her personal assistant ahead of schedule. How she had brought Jiang Jing to the victory banquet, let him wear her fiancé's suit, and seated him in the place of honor. How she had skipped her future mother-in-law's birthday to celebrate Jiang Jing's birthday in the future wedding home, gifting him a watch worth millions. The statement was accompanied by a wealth of intimate photos. Shen Yuning adjusting Jiang Jing's tie, the two of them holding hands on the sofa of the future wedding home. Clips of Jiang Jing's manipulative comments were included in video form. The statement concluded by exposing Jiang Jing's history of being kept by multiple wealthy women during his nightclub days, along with a trove of compromising photos with those women. At the end, I offered a formal apology to the public regarding Xiao Wu's violence, accompanied by his psychiatric evaluation, promising to manage his condition going forward and expressing hope for his recovery. The incident of Xiao Wu's imprisonment and torture years ago had already been widely covered by the media and was no secret. For his exceptional service, I had privately awarded him a 5 million yuan bonus. The moment the statement went live, every insult that had been hurled at me came crashing down on Shen Yuning and Jiang Jing 100-fold. Their victim narrative collapsed in an instant, and the backlash skyrocketed. My God, 3 years ago the Shen family was about to go bankrupt. Su Corporation saved them, and she still had the nerve to do this? Su Corporation kept Shen Corporation alive, and she turns around and tries to put horns on her fiancé? Emotional cheating isn't cheating? She gave her fiancé's suit to another man to wear and let him sit in the seat of honor? Who does something like that? Skipping her future mother-in-law's birthday to celebrate another man's birthday in the wedding home? President Shen, are you okay? A watch worth millions, just like that? President Shen really knows how to spend. I was one of the ones calling President Su controlling. I was wrong. Who the hell could tolerate this? Those two deserve everything they got. And they had the audacity to play the victims? What shameless dogs. Jiang Jing is a dead schemer, a professional pretty boy. Go to hell. As the video's popularity soared, more people came forward to expose Jiang Jing's chaotic private life, his scams for money and sex. Jiang Jing's social media accounts were overrun by furious netizens, every comment a blistering attack. Meanwhile, many voiced their support for Xiao Wu, calling him mighty and fierce. Public opinion had completely reversed. That evening, when I returned home, I found Shen Yuning kneeling ramrod straight at my doorstep. She looked gaunt, hair disheveled, eyes sunken deep into her skull. The moment she saw me step out of the car, she rushed over to grab me, tears falling freely. Ache, I was wrong. I was truly wrong. I didn't know Jiang Jing was that kind of person. I was deceived too. Please, give me one more chance. I'll do anything you ask. I really know I was wrong. I looked at her pitiful, trembling figure without a trace of sympathy. Shen Yuning, you don't realize you were wrong. You realize the Shen family is finished. I shoved her aside, my voice cold. Shen Yuning, you know that once I make a decision, it never changes. Shen Yuning staggered back, nearly falling. She looked up at me with a face streaked with tears, despair thick in her eyes. Ache, you really won't show even a shred of mercy? Mercy? Shen Yuning, did you show me mercy when you lied to me? When you let Jiang Jing parade around in my clothes? When you took him to our wedding home for his birthday? When you got him to post that video to attack me? Did you show me mercy then? She opened her mouth, but not a single word of rebuttal came out. Tears fell in big, heavy drops. She took a deep breath and looked at me with utter despair. Ache, let me ask you one last question. Did you ever love me? I dropped the final 2 words. Never did. Without a single backward glance, I turned and walked inside, shutting the courtyard gate with cold finality. Behind me came the sound of Shen Yuning's shattering sobs. The next day, Old Master Shen arrived at Su Corporation headquarters in person, leaning on his cane. He had come several times before, and I had refused him. This time I had him brought up. Old Master Shen stood in my office, looking as nervous as a child who had been caught misbehaving. Ache? His voice choked, his tone heavy with pleading. Yuning has been foolish. Her father passed away young, and I raised her myself. I never imagined I'd raise something so shameless. I've already disowned her from the Shen family. She's as good as a stranger now. Whether she lives or dies has nothing to do with us. Please, for the sake of the friendship between your grandfather and me all those years ago, let your anger subside. Give the Shen family a way to survive. I gave Xiao Wu a look. He helped the old man into a seat before I spoke. Old Master Shen, I know you and my grandfather were close, which is why 3 years ago, when you came to me, I spared no effort to help the Shen family through its crisis. But the ties between our 2 families have been exhausted by your granddaughter. I, Su Che, will not stumble into the same trap twice. I signaled Xiao Wu to present the documents I had prepared in advance for the old man to sign. Su Corporation will acquire the remaining quality assets of Shen Corporation at current market value, including your newly launched Starlight technology. This way, you'll at least have enough to live out your years in comfort. If you don't sign, the Shen family will face bankruptcy liquidation, and you'll be left with nothing. The choice is yours. Old Master Shen trembled from head to toe, but there was nothing he could do. He chose the money. In the end, with tears streaming down his weathered face, he shakily signed his name. At that moment, Shen Corporation effectively ceased to exist. As Old Master Shen was leaving, I leaned back in my office chair and mused, Old Master Shen, you built an empire from nothing all those years ago. Now in your twilight years, you've been brought down by a pretty boy. If that isn't a tragedy, I don't know what is. Take care of yourself. The old man's knuckles went white around his cane, his eyes burning with nothing but hatred. 1 month later, I was vacationing at the beach with my new girlfriend. A college girl, Xiaowu called with breathless excitement, saying that someone had broken Jiang Jing's legs and that he was half out of his mind, rummaging through garbage bins for food and sleeping under an overpass. The news didn't surprise me in the slightest. The self-made tycoons of that generation were rarely kind-hearted souls. As for Shen Yuning, I heard that after the cyberbullying, she fell into severe depression. Old Master Shen, unable to let go, brought her back home. These days, she reportedly couldn't even bring herself to step outside, hiding in the house all day, sometimes breaking into fits of hysterical screaming, but none of that had anything to do with me anymore. She had brought it all on herself, hadn't she? I set down my phone and settled into the beach chair. The sun was sinking toward the horizon. My college girl came bounding over in her bikini, her toned abs and long legs catching the light. President Su, the seafood dinner at the restaurant is ready. Let's go. I swept her up into my arms. Seafood? How boring. She blinked her wide, innocent eyes. Then what should we eat? You. Naughty. That has to wait until tonight.